Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of goldfries Tech Showcase, and in today's episode we have the AMD Radeon RX 480. More details after this. And so the much awaited RX 480 is here. This rectangular black box is what we've all been waiting for, and I can tell you it doesn't disappoint. The card is medium length, but that's only because the blower type cooler is extended beyond the PCB length. The length of the PCB reminds me of the one on the R9 Nano. The RX 480 is a result of AMD's effort to reduce power draw while improving performance. It only requires a 6-pin PCIe connector for operation. The RX 480 model is without backplate, however, RX 480 models from partners like XFX have backplate on it. As for the output, the RX 480 comes with 3 DisplayPorts and 1 HDMI port. Here's the GPU-Z for the RX 480 and also the details for my test setup. Now before we head to the benchmarks, I'd like to highlight that the overclocking on the RX 480 is a huge disappointment. Overclocking can only be done on the Wattman on AMD's Radeon software, and try as I may, I could only get it to 8% overclock on the core, and that leads to about 1366 on the core clock. Benchmark results on the other hand went the opposite direction regardless how I tweaked settings. This means the results on the overclock setup is lower than the one on the stock setup. Alright, so let's have a look at the benchmarks. I would like to highlight that I do not have the data for the GTX 970 simply because I usually do not test cards of such level at 4K UHD settings. However, in this video, I have the details for the R9 390 and the RX 480 simply because I wanted to see how they perform at 4K UHD. As you can see from the results, the RX 480 exchanges blow with the overclocked R9 390 and the reference GTX 970. The RX 480 of course runs at a much lower power draw, thus able to run cooler or more silent depending on how you prefer your system to be. As for the temperature, the RX 480 runs very silent, idling at 41 Celsius and 82 Celsius on load. However, on full RPM, the RX 480 idles at 30 Celsius and on load at 65. As for the power draw, the RX 480 draws about 114 watts during Fermark's stress test. So there you have a card that draws a little over 100 watts but able to deliver the performance of the GTX 970 that often draws almost 200 watts and that of the R9 390 cards that draws more than 200 watts. The AMD RX 480 retails at RM 1299, and in some places you could even get it for RM 1249. The card is great, it performs well, it runs silent and draws little power, and it's something no card at that price point has ever accomplished. It's just too bad that AMD priced it at RM 1299 instead of around RM 1000. The impact could have been greater, and so could the demand. Well, that's it for this episode of goldfries Tech Showcase, and thank you for watching. Remember to like and subscribe to this channel if you haven't. Do leave a comment down below if you have any. Thank you for watching.